Hello, sorry I am not here today, but I thought I would create a video to kind of guide you through what you should be doing. So the first thing obviously is that you will need to get a worksheet from the back on your way in, and then of course we will move on to your bell ringer. So this is your bell ringer today. What have you liked or disliked about our social media movement project? If you did not like it, I would like for you to please explain why. Like, was it too long? Or maybe did I not give you enough time? So just explain either way whether you did or didn't like it. And be honest, not mean, but honest. I do want to know your true feedback as far as like the overall concept of the project and what you did or did not like, okay? So once you're done with that, then you are going to move on to the worksheet that you picked up at the back. I will show you what that looks like here in just a moment in Canvas. And then we are going to do so you'll work through a PowerPoint. I'm going to show you that in Canvas. And then you will pause and do page 1 in the literary style packet that you picked up today at the back of the room. And then once you've done that, you will start listening to Serial episode 1. And while you listen, you're going to take notes in your true crime book that we created on Monday, that we folded and stapled together. So before you actually start listening to the episode, make sure that you look at your true crime book and go through those pages. There are characters on one side and then like doodle notes on the other side so that you can keep your mind active as you're listening, and you can just color in on those things, so that will help you to stay focused throughout the listening of the episode. Okay, now if you notice on our agenda slide, it says that we are only going to listen to episode 1 today, only up to minute 26 and 40 seconds. Okay, so once you've listened through or up to 26 minutes and 40 seconds, you're going to stop, and then we will pick up next week on Monday together. Okay, so let me go on over to Canvas over here, and we can see what that looks like. Okay, so here we are, second block of week 14. You have this first page here where it says Serial episode 1, literary style and voice. And then the second page here is the actual, where you can find the actual episode 1 of Serial to listen to. Okay, so let's open this page. And you will see that it says together we will work through the following PowerPoint and complete page 1 of the Analyzing Literary Style packet that you were given in class today. Okay, so let me scroll past this for a second. Once you've gone through the PowerPoint and completed page 1 of that assignment together, or, well, not together since I'm not there, sorry, then you will start listening to episode 1, okay? So this is what the packet looks like, right? You picked this up from the back of the room. This is the first page, page 1, and it says Analyzing Literary Style and Voice. This is excerpt 1, opening lines of Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie. Okay, so after you go through this PowerPoint here, then you will do page 1, and then you're not going to worry about page 2, 3, or 4, just page 1 today. Okay, so when you go through the PowerPoint, and it's just you're going through, okay, so literary style and voice. Everyone has a style, a unique way of presenting themselves through clothing and other expressive choices. Likewise, Literary style refers to an author's unique way of presenting a story and the distinctive choices they make. So word choice, figurative language, syntax, and formality work together to create a storytelling voice which contributes to the literary style. Okay, so over here we have let's practice. Read the opening lines of the fictional novel The Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie. As you read, think about how her word choice, figurative language, syntax, and formality work together to create a storytelling voice which contributes to literary style. So syntax is just basically sentence structure, okay? Sentence structure. And then formality just means is when you look at the entire overall writing, is their style formal writing or is it informal writing? Okay, so you will read the opening lines to this novel, which is right here on your worksheet today on page 1. Okay, so please read the excerpt first, and then you will go through and do the detective work. All right, so you could have paused that, or if you want to just do this after I give all the instructions. So after you've read through the quick excerpt, then you're going to follow the directions in that left-hand box. So it says, read this passage and annotate the following elements that contribute to literary style. Okay, so you're going to be color coding. So you will either need these colors in a highlighter, or you just use colored pencils. That's fine too. Okay, so for word choice, we are going to find stylistic word choice and for Agatha Christie, and we are going to color code them in yellow. Okay, so you're going to highlight or take a colored pencil and box around the words for word choice that you think are important, that helped to distinguish Agatha Christie's style. I'm just going to give you a hint. There are 4 words in particular in paragraph 1 that you should highlight. And then there are 2 words in paragraph 7 that you should highlight. And then maybe there's a couple others that you believe you should highlight, and that's fine too. But I'm just kind of guiding you to let you know that you should have 6 total highlighted yellow words for word choice. Okay. All right, so check mark word choice. We are done. Moving on to figurative language. You're going to find any figurative language and you're going to color code it in green. Green. Okay, so let me give you a hint. It is in paragraph 6, so that you don't have to hunt around a lot. It is in paragraph 6. Okay, so hopefully you identified smokes like a chimney, and that would be a simile, obviously. Okay, check mark figurative language. We are done with that one. Moving on to syntax. So it says to examine the syntax by looking at the excerpt from a distance and noticing the length of the sentences. Then you will zoom in and notice how the grammar in the sentences are arranged, and then annotate your findings. Okay, so literally pick up your packet, hold it as far as you can away from you, and look at those sentence structures. Okay, what do you notice? Are they short or are they long? What is happening? What do you notice? Hopefully you are noticing that most of her sentences are lengthy. There's really only 1, maybe 2 sentences that are short. Okay, and obviously the first short sentence is in paragraph 2. And it says, hell, said the Duchess. Okay. Now, remember, we were just holding it far away to kind of examine, to look at those length of sentences, get a different perspective. So now we're going to zoom in, bring it close, and we're going to look at how the grammar in the sentences are arranged. Okay. So let's look at that one short sentence in paragraph 2. It has, and you're going to annotate your findings. So right next to the sentence, you're going to write out your findings. So this is short syntax. And why do you think she uses this short syntax here? Right, so probably to draw attention, and it's meant to shock because all of the other sentences are longer, they're lengthy, and so this short, direct, plus the word choice added to it, the exclamation point, all of that is meant to shock the reader, okay? So for shock value. All right, so now let's look at pretty much all the other sentences, and they are long, correct? They are longer sentences. So Christy likes to use a particular thing in her sentences because her writing has these longer syntax usually. So if you look, let's look specifically in paragraph 7 in the first sentence. Kind of look at that and tell me what does she do in her long sentences? In the syntax of her sentences, like what does she do grammatically? So when we're looking at grammar, what does she do? So again, in paragraph 7, in that first sentence, you'll notice that she uses a lot of commas, right? So she uses commas to break up her long sentences, or commas are used as interrupters. Okay, so that's what she uses these commas for. Very often in her writing, she likes to use interrupters in her long sentences. Okay, so you should annotate that somewhere, that, maybe around paragraph 7, since we just looked at that as the example. Okay, and then you can pause if you need to do that. But we have done syntax. That's it. Short, sweet, to the point, right? So check mark that. The last thing we're going to look at is formality. So think about the excerpt as a whole. Is it formal or informal? Which clues help you decide? And then you're going to go in and you're going to underline the clues on this excerpt that help you to decide whether it's formal or informal. So hopefully, as you're thinking through it, you said that it was formal, because that would be correct. And why is it formal? It is formal because she uses more sophisticated, more educated words than not, right? She gives a lot of descriptions. She uses elevated words, fancy words, okay? So you're going to go ahead and go through and underline where you find those things that stand out specifically. So if we start at the top in paragraph 1, you should be underlining determined to make the commencement of his story forcible and original enough to catch and rivet the attention of the most blasé of editors, penned the following sentence. Again, elevated language. She's got that long syntax. Okay, And so that should be underlined as an example of her formal language or style, sorry, formal style. Then in paragraph 4, how about I had been transacting some business in Paris? Well, today, I'm pretty sure most of us in modern language would just say, I had some business in Paris, right? But she uses this more complicated way of saying it. I had been transacting some business in Paris. Down in paragraph 6, I am old-fashioned. And then in paragraph 8, nothing abashed. And in paragraph 9, most unladylike. So all of those should be underlined as kind of our proof, our clues that she has formal style writing. Okay, so now that we're done with that worksheet, page 1 in our little packet there, we are actually going to move on to listening to the episode. So again, you can go through this, but we basically just talked through all of this. Okay, but you are welcome to look at that if you want. Let me go to next. Okay, so here is where you are going to listen to episode 1. Notice how it says that while you are listening to episode 1, you should take note of these ideas in your true crime, color, and chronicle book. Important events to either the podcast or the case. So that would be times, dates, years, etc. Important people, and the most important or key players in this case have their own page in your booklet. So like I said earlier, you may want to pause this video and take a quick look throughout your book, because when they talk about Hae Min Lee, you're going to want to write details about Hae on her page. When they talk about Jay, you're going to want Jay Wilds, you're going to want to write information about him on his page. Okay, so when you're listening, you may be flipping back and forth to different pages as you take notes about these different people. Also, excuse me, places that are important, because this case takes place in different parts of the city. So it's important that we know kind of the timeline and the places where people traveled. Also, evidence belonging to the case, anything that repeats or changes often. Obviously, if our author or our narrator, Sarah Koenig, she is actually in our booklet, she is the first person, she has her own page. If she was repeating things a lot, then that would be important, right? She's giving us that repetition of evidence. But sometimes that evidence will change throughout the case. So it's important that we log that information. Mood and tone, of course, and then any opinions, reactions, or questions that you have as you listen. Okay, and again, there's doodle pages in there to keep your mind busy, focused, and listening as we listen. Okay, so there's links here, but honestly, the easiest way is just to literally click right here on our episode, and you, again, you're gonna just let it play, you're gonna listen, but you're only gonna go to minute 26 and 40 seconds, okay? 26 and 40 seconds is where you should stop for this period, and then we will continue picking up at minute 26 and 40 seconds on Monday, okay? So that is all that you have to do. If you have any questions, please reach out and let me know through Remind. I will not necessarily be in my email, but I will have my phone and be able to answer through Remind as best as I can. Okay? Thank you guys. Have a great day. Oops, I forgot to go over the reminders. So your reminders, once again, your Cameron Russell TED Talk retake will be due Monday, or that's the last day that I will accept those. Your vocab lesson 4 retake quiz retake, that will close on Monday. And then for vocab lesson 5 quiz retakes, that will close on Thursday of next week. So you have a week to get that in, and I'm sorry I'm not there to pass back papers today, but I will get them out to you on Monday. So in the meantime, make sure that you check Canvas and look at the retake process if you'd like to do a retake on your vocab quizzes. That process can be found in the class info tab in or on our homepage in Canvas, okay? All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.